Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Capitol View, a webcast brought to you by the Daily Journal and djournal.com. Brad Locke, your host here with you, joined from Jackson, as always, by Capitol Bureau Chief Bobby Harrison. Got a little bit of a late start today. We had another live streaming event earlier, so we didn't want to interfere with that. So coming to you now for a few minutes, and Bobby, looks like you've always got work to do. You got a little extra work to do this week, don't you?
Yeah, like a bad penny, Brad. You can't get rid of legislators. They're coming back tomorrow. The governor called them to special session. They'll start at 10 o'clock Tuesday morning.
And, of course, this is going to deal with the state budget shortfall. It could be up to $75 million short because of, some recent revenue collection issues coming up short there. And it looks like basically the Bryant and the Republicans just want to pretty much get everyone to rubber stamp going into the rainy day fund, dipping into that again, Bobby. Will the Democrats offer up much resistance to that, you think?
Well, for the current, the budget year ends, Brad, this Thursday, I think, is the last day of the budget year, June 30th. And they need about, as you said, between $60 and $75 million to plug this budget hole. And at this point, the only thing they can do for this budget year is to go into the rainy day fund, which currently has about $350 million in it, take out the money needed. There, the revenue collections are still coming in, but for the month of June, which is the last month of the budget year. And so they hope that between $50 and $75 million will fill that budget hole. But the Democrats are going to want to do something for the upcoming budget year to deal with what they say is a bigger a budget hole for the upcoming budget year. But more than likely, the Republican leadership in the House and Senate are blocking the effort to do that, and they'll just deal with the transferring the money for the current budget year from the rainy day fund. And my guess is they'll do that, and the session will be over perhaps in one day, but surely in 2 days.
Okay, so probably not something that's going to take all week.
No, I mean, like I said, the Democrats would like to do more, but the House and Senate leadership will probably most likely block those efforts, and they'll be in and out pretty quickly.
As we mentioned before, Bobby, normally the governor's allowed to take out $50 million a year from the rainy day fund. Governor Bryant has dipped into it for about $45 million. So to get more from that, he's just simply got to get approval, which, again, with the numbers that they have in the chambers, Bobby, I don't expect that'll be a problem.
That's right. And just to clarify and enhance what you said, he's dipped into the rainy day fund for about a little bit more than $45 million. The original shortfall is actually over. I mean, it's pretty substantial. It's about $206 million, but because of budget cuts and the transfers the governor has already made, and also the fact that the Attorney General has brought in about $66 million in lawsuit settlement funds, that brings the shortfall down to between $60 and $75 million. If it wasn't for that, they would be in a real mess right now. But because of what's been done already, the shortfall is much smaller. The big issue, Brad, going forward is what could be a big budget holes for the upcoming budget year, and also what's causing these revenue shortfalls that are not occurring in other states. So we are unique in dealing with such sluggish revenue collection. A lot of people say it's because of the tax cuts that the legislature has passed in recent years. Other people say it's just kind of a blimp that the state would get through it, but we'll see in the coming years what comes to that.
Yeah, you mentioned the tax cuts, Bobby, and obviously a lot of the Democrats would blame it on that. And then on the other hand, when he announced this special session Monday, Governor Bryant said that this rainy day fund money is available because of, quote, disciplined and conservative spending by Republican leadership the last 5 legislative sessions. So, some people would call that spin. Others would say, well, see, this is why we have the rainy day fund when stuff like this happens. So, from my perspective, I guess it's just, who do you believe?
Yeah. Well, there's no doubt that after the recession in 2008 and 9, that when the state finally got through that recession, The state had 3 real strong years of budget growth of about 5% each of those 3 years. They allowed the legislature and the governor to fill the rainy day fund to a statutory limit, which is when they said the statutory maximum is over $400 million. But now, for the past 2 years, revenue collections have, as these tax cuts have gone into effect, the Democrats would contend the past 2 years, the revenue collections have taken a real downward spiral. So we just got to see some larger tax cuts are on the horizon that was passed during this session. So we just have to see, as I said earlier, what happens in the coming years.
And in a story you had last week, Tate Reeves said that the state would have to collect between $725 and $750 million in revenue just for the month of June in order to balance the budget. Not likely to happen, Bobby, because that would be a record to do that.
Well, but the flip side of that, what people don't understand a lot of times when in most cases the state sets a record each year in revenue collection, because in most cases the revenue is going up each year. It's very unusual for it not to go up in a year,
right,
or for a month. So, but by the governor calling a special session early this morning, he sent out the press release before 8 o'clock. He's acknowledging that they're not going to meet that number that he talked about, even though revenue collections are still coming in. As of right now, the last time I checked with the Department of Revenue, they're still about $40 million below the estimate. I think right now they're under $600 million that they've collected, but they still have 4 days to go, where usually the final 4 days are strong days in revenue collection. But it's obvious to the leadership anyway, or at least to the governor, that they're not going to meet that number that Tate Reeves talked about.
All right, so that special session again begins Tuesday at 10 a.m. Bobby will have full coverage of that. We'll have it at djournal.com and in your daily journal. You can follow Bobby on Twitter for updates as well, at BobbyHarrison9. And that'll be it for this episode of Capitol View. You can watch the replay if you missed any of it or just want to watch it again here at djournal.com. Coming to you every Monday, normally around 2 o'clock. Again, we had another live streaming event that kind of pushed us back a little bit. I think we've got another one coming up in just a moment. You want to check out our Facebook page, DJournal Now, to watch the Facebook live stream of that. So that's it until, Bobby, I won't be here next week, so I guess we'll have to do it again in 2 weeks. I'll be on vacation. So,
all right, Brad, have a good vacation.
Well, thank you, sir. If you're here in 2 weeks, I'll be here as well. How about that?
Okay, good deal.
All right, thank you all for tuning in. See you next time.